Hey guys, it's your girl Jalicia, and I'm here today to talk about something that I've been noticing on the different videos that I see on YouTube, and also a lot of people have been asking me about this in the street, and that's hair coloring. Yes, hair coloring. But not just, step by step on how to do it. It's the things that you need to be aware of and prepare to do to get your color to come out right. So, it's just a quick little tip specifically for locks, but it can apply to all natural hair. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I know there's tons of videos on here that say you shouldn't dye your locks. It was a terrible experience. My locks fell out and all these different things. And while all that is true, and it definitely can happen, it's because when you're doing it at home yourself, you may not know, exactly what you need to prepare to do. So I'm going to quickly just tell you a few key things that I know because I dye my hair myself. I've been dyeing it forever. I've never been to a salon to dye my hair, and I've had a variety of colors, not just locks. I dyed my hair when it was permed, and I dyed my hair when it was natural. So, and I've had some, fail experiences, so I definitely can, give my 2 cents if you want to take it perfect. Okay, now, you all know I have about 4 locks over here dyed. I can't see, but I know you can. Over here in the sunlight. When I first dyed my hair, I used to dye the entire thing black, and I usually, since I've been natural, I've always consistently dyed my hair black because for some reason, I found when you dye your hair originally from its natural color, it doesn't quite grow back the natural color that it was before. It tends to get more brassy and oranges. I don't like that, so I keep my hair dyed black. Also, black is a staple color that I go back to when I'm sick of looking at my color, when I have a color fail, I always go back to black. So that's a staple for me. Now, I also like color, and I like splashes of color different places. For instance, I have these 4 red locks over here, but before they were just 4, I had 4 dyed right here, and it was like this entire part was red. Then I didn't like that, so I went back to black. I kept these 4 right here, and then I dyed another place over here, so I can go on and on. Anyway, the things that I want to talk about is first, when you're dyeing your hair, you need to know whether you want a permanent hair color or a rinse. Now, the difference between a permanent hair color and a rinse, the most visible is a permanent hair color normally is going to be in a box. A rinse is normally going to look like this. This is a Jazz-In rinse in Cherry Cola. I like this rinse, and I mix this with a raspberry plum to get this red color when it's not, washed out, because it is a rinse. Now, the easy things about rinses is you don't have to mix it. When a box dyes, you definitely do have to mix it, and that's because they're using a form of peroxide to lift the hair color and change it. This right here is a rinse is something you want to use, in my opinion, when you want to change your hair color, but not lift it, because this has no, I don't want to say chemicals, because it does have chemicals in it. It doesn't have any lifting agents in it. That's what I want to say. Rinses don't have that. So let's say, for instance, if your hair is blonde or a light brown and you want to go darker brown, you want to go red, you want to change your blonde, rinses is what you put over it to coat the color. However, when you're wanting to lift your color, you definitely have to bleach it, or the box dye has that, lifting agent in it. Now, when using a rinse, the easiest thing about it is the spout. You can just open this and put it directly onto your hair. I like that about these. Also, in my opinion, rinses give that deep red, deep pinkish, different kind of colors that you really won't find in a box dye, because for some reason, to me, lifting agents makes your hair look meh. I don't like it. It doesn't give a vibrant color. Now, sidebar. If you know, oh my gosh, what's that YouTuber's name? I'm going to look up her name. On Deck is her name. Now, if you are familiar with her on YouTube, she has the most beautiful red locks. Now, I cannot remember what dye she uses for her locks, but if I could get my hands on that, that is the only dye that I've seen with my own eyes that gave that rich, vibrant color. Usually, like I said, I stick to rinses for that. However, because my hair is black, I have to lift my color in order to get reds or browns. I don't really like my hair in brown anymore, but I have been brown. You know, those lighter, anything lighter than black, I'm going to have to lift it, because not only is my hair jet black, it's not naturally black. It's dyed black. So they have to lift all of that dye. Now, before I get into is important to have. This is a dyeing brush. I know people are like, what do they use these things for? You see them in the hair store all the time. They're flat. This is what a dyeing brush, and you use that to brush on the color. Yeah, and I'm going to show you that as well. But this is a staple. You need this, a pair of gloves, and a glass mixing bowl to do any kind of lifting. In my opinion, you don't want to do it in a plastic bowl, because depending on what chemicals is in the plastic, the lifting agent may chip that out. I don't want to deal with it. I do it in glass to stay safe and sorry. Now, if you know anything about bleaching, you know that, there's a bleaching powder and then there's the developer. You mix them together and you bleach. Now, if you guys need me to do a whole demonstration of me actually bleaching my hair so you can see what it actually looks like, I'll be glad to do that. Right now, I'm just going over a few points that I see people need to know on YouTube when you're dyeing your hair. Because it's not something, the instruction doesn't tell you everything. Okay, now, glass bowl, dyeing brush or tinting brush, and gloves. Those are the 3 must-haves, whether you're doing a rinse, you're doing a bleach, or you're doing a box dye. Also, you need Vaseline or some kind of base. If you have leftover base, or if you're permed and watching this, the base that you use, you want to put that along this whole place, over your ears and in the back of your nape, to stop your skin from being dyed along with the color. That's terrible, and you want to protect your hands from the color as well, because if you get that color on your hands, you will look like Freddy Krueger in the end. You will, depending on what color you use. If you use black, you're going to look like you're in blackface, but on your hands. I'm telling you from experience, these hands have been colored plenty times. Anyway, so moving on. Box dyes, you do the same thing with the bleach. You mix it together, you mix it up, whatever the case may be. Now, box dyes, it's in the bottle just like this, so you don't have to worry. You can just put it on your hair. Fine. Now, this is the point. This is the reason why I even made this video, to stress this. When you are lifting your color, I know you guys have all seen the people, or it's happened to you before, where you've lifted your hair color and your roots are turned perfectly and all of this is still dark. This is the key. On the strand of hair, right? This is the closest thing coming out your hair. So this part right here, this is virgin hair. Virgin hair meaning it's the newest part of your strand. So if you put the dye on, let's think about it. If you put the dye on the root to the ends, the most fragile, let me not say fragile, but the most sensitive to coloring part is what the bleach is on first. So this is going to take almost immediately. And I think personally, if you leave dye on, if you put it on from hair to hair and you see this part colored and this doesn't color, or it's taking longer and you leave it on there, your lock may come off. That's what I'm going to say. It may. It's a harsh agent, I'm not going to lie. But the thing is, unless you want your roots to be lighter than your ends, go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl, with that. But put it on the ends first. Again, I say, put it on the ends first and work your way up. And I'm going to show you how to do that now again. So we're bleaching. Let's say this is our bleaching right here. We've mixed it all up, or whatever the case may be. This is how you need to do your hair. We're going to need foil paper. If you guys didn't know, foil paper is what you use because it keeps the heat in. So I've seen people use these strips called bleaching strips. Foil paper is what I do. We're at home. We're going to use foil paper. This is the foil paper. Let me take this out for you. All right. Let's say we're doing this hair. Now, if you're doing your entire head, I'll show you that after this. But let's say you're doing a portion. Okay. This is the foil paper. You put the foil paper under the hair like this. right? Spread it all the way out. Now the foil paper is going to be open. You dip your brush into your product, and you start with the ends first. I can't see myself, I'm sorry. So you start with the ends first, get some more product, and you go up. The reason being is it gives the ends a chance to take quicker than the root, because we know the root is going to change color. So please, guys, please heed my warning when I say do start with the ends first. If you have any additional questions or you're not clear on this demonstration, let me know. But this is what I really want to stress. Use a tinting brush because it will stop you from dipping it. And sometimes when you dip with the product, it's runny, it'll fall and dye other places. And once that bleach is on, if you don't wash it off, it's going to change the color, even if it's just a little bit. So we want to use a tinting brush, gold, container to mix. And we're going to use foil paper. And we're going to start with the ends and go up. That will avoid you having lighter roots and your lock is not even dyed. Another thing, for those of us who dye our locks, do not squeeze the hair dye into the lock. Because keep in mind, our locks is sponges, so it's just squeezing the bleach inside, and you don't need to dye the inside. Outside is fine, the inside, and if you don't wash that out thoroughly, that bleach will break your lock immediately. Normally, leaving the bleach on too long, or some permanent dyes, depending on how strong your hair is, leaving the product on too long and not getting out all the product are the two biggest reasons why your locks or your hair will break off or fall off. Again, if you want to see me actually do my hair and do the entire bleaching process that I just explained to you, I'll be glad to do so. Let me know. And also, if you plan on dyeing your entire hair, you do the same thing. You have the box dye, okay? Start with your ends first. Then you get all your ends, get it all in there. Then you start working it up, massaging it in, working up the shaft to the root. Same process. All right? This is just really quick. I hope I wasn't lecturing, but I really just wanted the information to get out there because I'm seeing far too many people with dyed roots and not locks, and it's just, I know that's not what you want because I've been through it and I found out how to rectify it, so I want to share it with you guys. All right? Thanks for watching.